Live from the Scruffy Womp Rat Cantina, this is Under the Twin Suns.
Welcome back to the Scruffy Womp Rat Cantina Under the Twin Suns, coming to you live regarding the Twin Suns game mode from Star Wars Unlimited. I'm your host Cole, and we're joined by some really cool guys today. To my right, I have Steve, the handsome guy from Tatooine.
Yeah, I'll try spinning. That's a good trick.
And we've also got Jonathan.
Heyo.
And then Ruben, and Ruben's brought us a guest today as well.
Hello, everybody. I would like to introduce our special guest, Raul. He's a content creator of the Epic Action podcast, where they talk a lot about Premiere and their community. And hey, thanks for joining us today, Raul.
Yeah, well, this is where the fun begins, guys. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we appreciate you having you on because we're gonna get more of a perspective from a Premiere player. Because that's not. I mean, Steve and Ruben are pretty good Premiere players, but for the most part, myself and Jonathan are kind of casual, and we enjoy the Twin Sun side more. So I'm really looking forward to picking your brain regarding that.
For sure. Yeah, it was. I don't get to do a lot of Twin Suns, so actually, we played last week, and it's kind of giving me the bug. I've been thinking about Twin Suns a lot more than Premiere the last week or two.
It's really fun because you can just do so many thematic things, or like you can build off of just one dumb combo or idea, and that's my favorite thing, especially because, at least in my opinion, I don't feel as competitive for I need to win the Twin Suns game. I feel like it's just a lot more just for fun and hanging out with your buddies, and whoever wins whoever has the most fun is really the winner, right? So
Right.
I feel like you can do a lot more. I can play cards that I would never play, which is something we'll get into later. But yeah, just a quick little to be announced thing that we've been kicking around. We wanted to say this is our 10th episode of Under the Twin Suns, and we want to thank you, the viewers, for giving us your time and letting us into your home. So we're going to be doing a giveaway soon, announcement to come, but stay tuned for that. And another fun video that'll be coming soon is Under the Twin Suns and Raul's show, Epic Action. We're going to be doing a Twin Sun event with Chaos rules, and those rules will be coming soon, and we'll let you guys know in case you want to try it out yourself for the JTL pre-release. But we are looking forward to doing that. You guys have a really cool show over there. I really enjoy it. Seem like a lot of fun guys to play games with, and we're looking forward to it.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'm super looking forward to that event. And likewise, like it just y'all have been very welcoming, kind, and it's just been great to just hang out with you guys.
As always, I'm going to go on a side tangent because Raul got me on a great point right there. I have found the Star Wars Unlimited community to be so freaking welcoming. I can honestly say I have never had a negative experience at any event.
Like, I was talking to some guys in freaking Sweden on Discord, and they were like so cool and like open. Like, I have never met anybody like it's every community that I found so far is just so welcoming. It's very nice.
Yeah,
well, there's a little disclaimer to that, but any Iden blue players, though, I don't know. They're a little sus to me.
Well, I was just gonna say you guys made me feel right at home this last weekend, so maybe I got to watch it back.
Bro, I know one of your hosts was in Japan recently, right? And he played some SWU over there. How was that?
He did. Yeah, Nick. It's been real fun. We had to catch up again with him this last episode. He was basically telling us like he's in Tokyo and there's only really one store there. But they all play with English cards because the license for Star Wars trading card games in Japan belongs to White Shorts. So they don't print Japanese language cards, but the store owner imports them, and they had a good amount of people. I think he stopped by for like a weekly event they were all playing. He bought a couple packs, didn't pull anything great, but the other cool thing is that the game store is also a bar, so
that sounds fun.
full bar.
Nice.
So,
Interesting.
Yeah, so go little drinky and play some SWU.
So they're literally playing in the Scruffy Womp Rat Cantina. It's awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
So I've dreamed of it, and it does exist. Glorious. To add boys. No, but thank you for joining us this week,
Yeah.
Raul. We're really looking forward to talking with you. So we're gonna go ahead and just quickly get one of our favorite segments out of the way. Jonathan, I believe you've prepared a meme for us. Insert the intro. Memeology study of, I think, now.
So for some reason, Embo was on the brain this week, and I'm trying to keep him alive as long as possible. So this will start on turn 3, because then you have 4 mana. It'll be playing Embo and Compassionate Senator. Then on the following turn, attaching Resilient to Embo, so that he's got a bit more toughness. Add Ruthlessness, because to get his heal, you want to be attacking units anyway. Then attack and hopefully knock something out. Then we're playing Grand Inquisitor, so you're able to untap Embo and deal 2 damage to him. Attack again if there's something with 0 power, or 1, hopefully, to minimize the damage you take. Use Kira to give him a shield, and then Compassionate Center to heal back that damage. And so,
I like that.
trying to get as many uses as possible, but
And I know
It's
you
like
have second
from the
chance
Clone
support
Wars.
as well.
This is like the Clone Wars Zimbo that's like snowboarding down the thing and chasing Anakin. I can't remember that scene, but I know he does that.
Prime Embo. Yes, he does.
And he's like unkillable. Like they just like keep throwing shit at him, or he just keeps dodging it.
Do you guys know there's a tracking chip in his helmet or in his hat in case he loses it?
awesome.
It's a pretty sweet hat.
I mean, I love it personally, and the fact that he uses a bowcaster is just sick.
I would love to see that second chance on there as well, like you said, Jonathan. Like, you know, that would be fun. That's a card that I've been wanting to play and make work since I saw it. And the fact that you play it in Twin Suns, and if that goes off, you're like, I win no matter what happens because you played that card.
But Ruben, I
Yeah.
think you're gonna get your wish finally next season, and I could be completely wrong. I think second chance is gonna be really good in your double blue Thrawn deck if that's what the direction you choose with that. Like in theory,
Yeah,
right? 'Cause then you can get its
or
mana
my
back
Yoda blue
and
deck.
do the
Yeah,
undefeated
it's
again.
oh well, yeah. There's so many fun things that you could do with Thrawn's ability. So yeah, I'm a super. That's the deck I started today on building it. So I'm hyped.
Well, thank you for sharing the meme with us, Jonathan. As always, I will have the pictures up of the cards and the order to play them in, and we'll have the combo listed below. So let's get into our main topics. So we've hinted at it. Raul, would you tell us your background in trading card games?
Sure. It probably goes back to Pokemon. Mid '90s. The base set, the first set dropped here, and I was one of those kids trying to catch them all. I got my binder pretty close to the end. I didn't really play the game. Like my dad took me to like these weekly events at like Toys R Us where you could like earn badges and trades and stuff. But really I was just there for trading. And then after that I got into a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh! I still have my Exodia deck, which I think was like banned. Like most of the cards in that were banned like a year after they came out. And that game's been, I've been following a little bit. I hear the status and it's like, whoever goes first usually wins just because of how crazy combos work.
That's what I've heard. I have one friend who's really, really into Yu-Gi-Oh! And it sounds like it's kind of become a coin flip game of an OTK. And if it's not, you're talking about several $100s just to get in the door for a deck, like 300 to 500, whereas competitive Pokemon is like 60 to 100. And of course, SWU, our entire last episode, check it out below if you haven't seen it below, is about how affordable SWU is. Sorry,
Definitely.
cut you off.
No, you're good. And then Ruben reminded me recently that I played Force of Will for a couple minutes there.
What is that?
It was like it's actually very similar to SWU in that you have a leader character that you like build outside your, you click your character and you build your deck kind of around the combos that they can do. And at some point, once you have enough resources, you can flip your leader out and basically attack. It's kind of a little mix of Yu-Gi-Oh, Magic and like I guess what later would become Destiny. But it was a lot of the themes of the art were like fairy tales. So you had like Red Riding Hood.
Mm-hmm.
Who else is in that?
The Cheshire Cat. Remember the Cheshire Cat?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That game was a lot of fun. It had the remember back when you used to get God packs when you open it
yeah.
up and they're all like the shinies.
Yep.
Oh man.
I opened one of those during
Those are the
this
days.
night. So that was like the first like real kind of competitive trading card game I played for a couple months. And then Destiny came out, Star Wars Destiny, and that's where I met Ruben. And that game was a lot of fun. You know, obviously like it was FFG's predecessor to Unlimited, and you see a lot of the mechanics, especially this next set, that are just directly ported over from that game. Piloting, indirect damage. Played that through most of its life. I think I stopped playing before the last like 2 sets dropped, just because I moved on to Star Wars Legion at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really been my competitive main game for the last couple of years. You know, Star Wars Legion. Ended up playing at Worlds last year. Placed 21 out of 370
Oh, that's
something.
awesome.
So
Nice.
Yeah,
So
man.
you're a
led the
tabletop
charge.
gamer as well.
Flex.
Oh yeah, led my Wookiees. I played a Wookiee army, a whole Wookiee army, which was just a lot of fun. You basically was called Push W for Wookiees because just all you do is charge them forward, and as long
That's
as
so
you
funny.
get good target priority, you usually win. I play Shatterpoint on the side a little bit. Right now, I'm getting ready to play in the Halo Flashpoint Nationals in about a month at Adepticon, where I'm also hosting
nice.
not hosting, but also helping judge the Legion Worlds. Took a little break from that. But as you all know, I am really into the premiere side of the Unlimited at the moment.
This man is a double threat. He's a tabletop gamer and a trading card gamer.
Oh yeah, little Marvel Rivals on the side too.
Oh Lord, he's a video gamer. He's a triple
I do all the
threat.
love, yeah. I just just enjoy all the games. It keeps my mind sharp when I'm not having to be at work. So a lot of fun. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, that's a lot of awesome things. I've always been interested by Legion and Shatterpoint. I used to play 40K back in the day.
Yep.
And I just don't have the space or room right now for it, but I am very much interested in coming back to tabletop gaming at some point.
Those are great games to play, especially so I used to play 40K as well for a while. Never competitively, more fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Just casually for me, never competitively at all.
And like little Warhammer Fantasy battles here and there too. But so the main thing that drew me to Legion, other than being Star Wars, was the back and forth activation. Just like in SWU, just like in Destiny.
Oh, that is interesting.
So you're playing, 40K. It's you sit there, your opponent does your whole turn, maybe it takes half an hour. You're just sitting there waiting to roll defense dice. And how many models am I picking up? In Legion, it's back and forth activations. Who goes first is determined by like a kind of mini game at the beginning of each turn, where you play a command card. And they'll determine the order, and then you have a system of orders that you from your command card. You can either give them to your units on the board, or like have to put them in a bag, which will come out randomly. So that you can't really just activate whatever model you want. You have to, there's a bit of a mini game where you determine what order you're playing in. But again, the back and forth activation, thinking on your feet, having to adapt to your opponent's plays, just very much like Unlimited.
Yeah, that's my absolute favorite thing about Unlimited, the fact that you have the back and forth play, whereas like even like you said, like a game, I'm just gonna use a TCG, like a game like Magic, you have all at once. You have your opponent's turn, or Yu-Gi-Oh, like the OTKs we were talking about earlier. But how about you tell us about your podcast? I know Epic Action has been going for a little while now. We're fans and we enjoy watching and listening. But just tell us a little bit about it. Like, what's it about? What do you guys do? What are your themes? Yeah.
Well, I really super appreciate your guys' support and you're taking the time to listen, give us feedback. Ruben for coming on the show now. It was really awesome having you there. So Epic Action really began, we were kind of thinking about it last, I want to say November, late November, early December. It was Paul who was like, we should do a podcast. And we just, thought about it for a week or two. Like the next week we're like, what would we call it? And I was thinking Epic Action sounds cool. And just from there, the next week or two, I spent making the logo. I designed it myself using Illustrator and Photoshop and all that, and kind of determining the format. And once the new year hit, we were getting ready to do a showdown, so we figured let's get this out the door and just do it. Let's jump right in. So for all three of us, this is our first podcast attempt, like as creators. I listen to a ton of content creators, like listen to you guys, a lot of Legion, the Fifth Trooper, hello there from Shatterpoint, Truth and Reconciliation, who is a Halo Flashpoint podcast. So like I listen to a lot of gaming podcasts in general. So I figured I could kind of like draw and just have them listen to them, how they format their shows, and take a little bit of everything I like from those shows and make our own. And we figured kind of want to be a grassroots podcast. Like there's plenty of competitive talks out there, shows that focus on just competitive talk. You guys are awesome for doing Twin Sons format. That's I think are you the only guys doing it? I couldn't really find another one that was strictly focused on.
I don't want to be egotistic and say that we are the only ones doing it. There are a couple other shows that have had Twin Sons segments.
They don't exist.
Like
We're the best.
Yeah, exactly, Steve's right. But Golden Dice podcast had some episodes about Twin Sons.
Sure.
I know there's a lot of creators who talk about Twin Sons, but weekly show coming out about Twin Sons, I do think we're one of the few, if not the only.
Definitely, that's what I meant. Like you're pretty much like that's your focus. So our focus was we wanted to be community builders. From the game first came out, and it really came from the first game first came out a year ago. Our scene was very thriving. We had in Fredericksburg, we had 3 stores that ran events. Monday, Wednesday, Thursday. So just during the week, you had all the event you can go to pretty much every night. And then we go up north to Springfield for Curio on the weekends. But as the middle late set 2, when the whole Boba thing was going on, where he's being so oppressive, I think a lot of people got discouraged. The supply, like a lot of people got went on to other things, which is cool. But our community was starting dwindling, where we had constant 15 plus people at our weekly events. We were lucky to fire some nights. So we luckily we started hanging out at your hobby place, and a lot of people started congregating there from the community. Just it seemed to be the best night, best location for a lot of people, and we just kind of wanted to highlight that and figure out how we can keep that momentum going. So we like to talk about, a lot of us travel, up north to Curio, down south to Waterloo, like Japan, even though it's side journey, side quest to place to. I'm actually going to Boston this weekend as part of my work trip. And the first thing I looked up is, are there any showdowns going on or any events? And it just so happens that there's a showdown at a store called Squabbling Goblin. That it's very convenient that I'm gonna be able to. It is
such a good freaking name.
So they have a showdown this weekend. It's just very convenient. Like I'm gonna be able to get off my plane, take an Uber to get food next to it, and then walk in and play the showdown that day. So I'm gonna pack my deck, but really, again, our focus was community building. What we can do, try to involve everyone around, because from having listened to the Legion podcast, especially where they mention their opponents, like who they're playing with, they directly connect with them. It gives people a reason to want to come and play, want to come and talk to you and keep playing the game, because it's they're forming that community. Someone you can talk to you, and eventually even beyond SWU, other games. And then of course, the 3 of us, we're not S tier players like Sunny or Team Seeker. Those guys are awesome. They're what goes down their mind while they're playing this game, like they're playing 5D chess with us. They're awesome, but we're I say casual competitive. Like we want to do well, we want to play, but we want to have fun. So kind of want to highlight how we are kind of progressing, working on our decks, how we approach tournaments, not sweating if we win or lose, but just trying to take something away from each tournament, each game. So that's why we do a lot of battle reports and talk over our games with our the opponents we had.
Yeah, well, I mean, it sounds like you guys are doing a great thing over there. I mean, we're really we watch every episode. We're fascinated by what you're doing. And we appreciate the compliments for the Twin Sunsode.
Yeah.
And you kind of alluded to it that you guys are casual, competitive, but I know you guys kind of play in PQs. And Steve and Ruben, feel free to jump in on this as well. What do you guys do to prep for PQs for our listeners who might be interested in something like that?
Sure. So, first and foremost, the weeklies, again, we have a lot of newer players, especially as the weeks are going on. So we try not to bring the hardcore decks to that. But at the same time, we want to, do want to play, our best and have some decks. We'll talk amongst ourselves. Doesn't hey, this Wednesday let's play competitive, casual, but next week we're gonna bring the heat. I'm gonna bring Item Blue. Nick will bring his boss deck, and we're gonna play for reals and just try to run, do a competitive gauntlet of decks that we think are likely to face. and then we kind of document like our small tweaks here and there. We try to like not to change our decks too much. Like maybe like I said, I think last episode I so last tournament it was a showdown at SEO. I took my Iden deck, and after that I had a talk with Tom, and we had taken out my Inferno 4 and put in some Sentinels. So I decided to kind of revert that this time. Just small changes back and forth, but also added in like cards that I didn't have before. So I put in Equalize, which I hadn't had before, but it came in handy.
Oh my god, didn't it?
I think
I watched
you're
that.
sitting there. Yeah,
I watched that poor Kylo player. He played them 2 units out. I said, "Oh, that's pretty good," and then he just wiped them off the board.
I believe it was Jonathan playing double red Kylo. So turn 1, he played I think like Mr. Bones and like a Stormtrooper. And I was like, okay, claim. So my first action of turn 2 was a 3-cost Equalize, which is give an enemy -2/-2. If your opponent controls more units than you, give another enemy -2/-2. So I was able to clear his board for 3, which was great value. But yeah, it's really just I really enjoy playing Iden. I've dabbled in other decks, but for me personally, when I just try to get as many reps as I can, and just make like small changes, like course correct on things that like I feel like don't work well in my deck. So at one point I had Dooku's in there, and I just found he was just too slow for 7 costs. I'd rather play like a 4 and a 3 cost or something to either establish the field or try to remove 2 people. So he's come out, and I've just like tweaked it here and there. And then in our Discord, we also have like channels where we have dedicated to specific decks. So we'll have a channel for a specific leader in color, and people will just post their list there, and we ask for feedback, and we like give it and take it, and it's just a lot of very good constructive criticism from everybody. So that's another thing that's helped.
Yeah, I really like that, and that's one thing I've chimed in a couple times in that channel itself. I think that's clever, and it's a good way to kind of especially community building of it. It's like, hey, everyone, let's talk about this deck. What do you guys think of it? And I think it's a good way for that too.
Yeah,
that's a great resource. I was actually able to talk with Andrew. What's his last name? Yeah,
Team Secret.
And he was able to give me some great Kira.
Yeah.
He was able to give me some great Kira feedback, which was awesome. That's a great resource. Definitely should put that in the description. The link to that Discord.
Yep. Anyone welcome to join us? Appreciate it. I've been playing Item Blue pretty much for my competitive season here. I think after I keep saying this is my last event because I wasn't planning on going to the Waterloo one this past weekend, but it just so happened another event I was going to was the Halo event got canceled, so I made the trip. I'm glad I did because I had a lot of fun. I got to meet you guys in person. But then again, this one popped up, so it's like one more run for Item Blue. Let's go.
One more time.
I'm sworn to the breach, so I'm gonna be taking her to the showdown this weekend. I jumped in their local Discord, and they said last time they got about 30 people. And I know it being the Boston area, there's a good chance some KTOD people will show up. So I'm looking forward to just having a good time, win or lose. But one last good showing for Iden, because I think next set I'm switching over to Luke too, because he is really looking good.
He looks exciting. Well, we wish you the best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
We got one last question, and then we're all gonna chime in on this. For everybody, what is your staple card in a Twin Suns deck? Why? For me, everyone has heard me talk about this constantly just because I think it is so cool and so fun. I freaking love Smuggling Compartment. A +1/+1 on vehicles, and I get to ready a resource on attack. It's just infinitely better now that JTL's coming out, but I've always loved this card. That's my upgrade of choice. And the fact that you can put it on walkers and stuff, mwah, chef's kiss.
It's awesome. Yeah, so in Premier I'm mostly a blue control player, but for Twin Suns I went aggro. I know we're gonna talk about my deck in a little bit, but so playing in the red green colors for Twin Suns, looking over my list here, and the first thing that came to mind was honestly the simple Echo Base Defenders. I think it's just a great value card. It's a Sentinel, one of the few Sentinels red green can really tap into at a cheap cost. So I'm gonna say that one.
Steve, how about you?
For me, it's a card I never see, but I always put it in my decks. I'm a villain player, and usually I end up in aggression. It's give into your anger. It's that one cost that
Oh,
says
yeah.
that it like does a damage and then it makes that unit attack if able. I just think it's so much fun in Twin Suns to just mess with people and be like, yeah, that unit, it has to attack this turn. Like just chaos. I never draw it, but it's in every deck I play.
Especially if you can do it onto the one guy who doesn't have a sentinel and everybody else has sentinels. That's just funny.
Right.
Rough.
It's usually me, so like attack me. But
Jonathan, how about you?
See, I'm a sucker, simple man. Super laser tech for me.
Oh, yeah.
I always fall with villainy and then love ramping. So the odd chance you get just one resource sooner feels great every time.
Ramping is just peak in Twin Suns. Ruben, how about yourself?
Well, my favorite card right now is anything that has the word Sentinel on it. So that is my staple card. So I'm running a double blue deck, my Obi-Wan, and the deck that you played against, Raul, was my deck.
Okay.
That Obi-Wan Ray red deck, I believe it was, and it was basically high Sentinel units in there. So that's, I would say, stable cards for me is I start with my Sentinel units first, and then I build around it.
Yeah, that deck was cool to play against. Chip, right?
Yeah, that's right.
My bad, Chip. Calling him Tim twice last episode. Appreciate it.
When I listened to the last episode, I was laughing. I was like, Tim. I was like, and he kept, I was like, okay.
I don't know why Tim came to mind, and I was like, once I started, I was like, I'm just gonna go with it and hope it's right, and if not, I'll correct it later. I think I did.
There you go.
I think Chip
But,
was
yeah.
like a Tim. I said it. I'm controversial. I said it like that.
we'll just change his name. I think that'd be easier.
Yeah, handsome
We'll just
Tim.
change his name. Yeah, he'd just be Tim from now on.
So, Ro, you hinted at it. Could you tell us a little bit about your deck, your Twin
Sure.
Suns deck?
Yeah, so like I said, I have very limited experience in Twin Suns, but the first deck I really wanted to build once the cards were revealed was an Anakin Ahsoka deck.
Very thematic.
that was my main thought about putting it together. I just wanted to put those two characters together. It was cool that they're red. Let's see, let me pull it up here real quick. I started building it. The first, I've only really played it with 50 cards, and I shared with you guys an 80 card version using the new JTL cards. But as I was building the first version of it, I basically went down the red color and grabbed anything that said clone on it. Any clone, anything that generates clone tokens, that everything just got shoved in because I wanted to have that wide field to activate Ahsoka, make sure she's active. So a ton of 1-cost units, 2-cost units, very low to the ground cost units that will stick around because there'll be so many of them. But there's also things like things that have a little bit of health, like what is it called here? Space station that has cost 2, has 1 damage, but it has 4 health.
Oh, the Headhunter Squadron, right?
Yes, yeah, that card. So stuff like that, they're low cost, not a lot of damage, but they're all they really are doing there is to hopefully stick around a little bit longer to help set off coordinate on Ahsoka. The Anakin unit, Ayla is in there, and she's really powerful. If you can get that online, she just starts deleting other parts of the field. So that was the first kind of pass of what I was putting in there, and then I started to put in what I call value events, things that give you several clone tokens, let you attack twice, like outflank, attack with 2 units 1 at a time for only 1 cost. So you're getting value and the action economies. You're able to go ahead and swing your 2 units, and they're done for the turn. You don't have to worry about not having them to swing because you have to choose which one's going first. Recruit, there's I think 51 units in my deck here, but I put recruit in there because it's a 1-cost card that it lets you dig for the specific one you want. At this point, do you want more low-cost units, or do you want a higher end unit? So I'll let you kind of pick, hopefully, from one of those cards you pick.
I think a lot of those dig cards are going to see a lot more relevance in the next coming sets when we go to the 80 to the 100 card decks, because for the longest time, I know a lot of us have thought, why would I possibly need this 2-cost card to search 10 cards just to draw some stuff? Well, once your deck is 100 cards, you might need it.
Yeah, like Mandalorian. This is the way, the one that's search for Mandalorian thing. That comes to mind. So that, to build a Mandalorian deck is going to be kind of mandatory.
Takeoff is another one, like looking for vehicles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, being a red deck, you're so many low cost cards. You're gonna run out of your hand pretty quick. So I try to look for cards that let you draw. So I'm looking at like patrolling V-wing, aggression is really kind of there just to give you a draw. What else? Bright Hope. You can play that one and bounce like a 1 or 2 cost unit. Hopefully, lets you draw another card, and now you should have plenty of mana like the following turn to play him back again.
He said mana.
Yeah, Santa.
I wasn't going to call him out on it. Jonathan said mana earlier.
I will.
wasn't going to call it.
Yeah. Well, I was going with your guys' lingo,
It's very fair. I respect.
Yeah. And then start looking forward to the next set. What those things could add in. So that's again stuff like one of the things that stuck out was General Draven. He's a 5 cost, but when you play him, you create an X-Wing token, so that helps you get that coordinate online a lot easier. Value cards like that. From the earlier set, Captain Rex, a 6 cost, create 2 clone trooper tokens. So you play him, you flip out Anakin and Ahsoka, and you got a pretty wide field that turn. What else? Let's see. Pelta Supply Frigate. That's from Twin Twilight as well.
Yeah.
And that lets you get another clone token out. On the higher
wide.
Yeah. And then on the very high end, so I know you guys talked about it too. Their games don't usually go to 7 or 8 resources. But just in case it does, I have that one of AT&T Vanguard.
Oh yeah.
Big unit, restore 3 in case I need it, which probably at that point you would, especially running Anakin. And you play that, and if they somehow deal with it, they also you get 2 clone troopers out of it. So again, just going wide as you can, play a lot of units, get Ahsoka and Anakin out, and kind of try to swing for the win on 1 or 2 turns.
Well, I think it's super fun. I like it.
Yeah, I like the the bold statement with using Anakin that you're already doing damage to your base, and you're like, "Come at me, guys." I'm like, "Okay, we will," but it definitely helps keep your board state strong and aggressive.
Yeah, and then there's a couple upgrades too that help. Clone Brothers again gets you kill a unit. There comes the clone trooper after it. Strategic Acumen. That was really cool because again it gives you it's a 1 cost green card for +2 health on a unit upgrade, but it gives you an action. Play a unit from your hand, it costs 1 less. So it makes them stick around a little bit longer with that extra health. And then you put it on a weak unit anyways, like the Headhunter Squadron, and you're just tapping them to pay other units for free or cheaper, but possibly for free if you're playing the 1 cost guys.
Units out. I love that.
Yeah. And then I try to include a little bit of ramp, so I have resupply in here. And at one point at the higher end, I had the I think it's called the Aquitans Cruiser, the one that ambushes in.
Yeah.
But again, that was like such a late game unit that I just cut it because I didn't think we'd get to it even with some ramp. But at least having the ramp again lets you play many units at a time.
Yeah, I love that card personally. Well, thank you for sharing. That sounds like a really fun deck. We'll have it linked below as always.
Sure.
So our favorite segment, and Raul, you get to join in with us
Awesome.
this week. We're gonna play a game called Name That Card. Play the intro.
What's that card?
And that should be it. Steve, would you go ahead and explain the rules as you are the victor from last week?
Yes. Hi, my name is Steve, and I won. We're changing the rules a little bit. Exactly. We're changing the rules a little bit because we constantly adjusting this game to try and make it fair and balanced.
True.
This week, each player can ask 3 questions, and then they get to make a guess. So you'll basically get 4 turns, 3 questions, and then 1 guess. We will follow in the order of, I don't know. You guys can pick an order. I don't really care. But I have a card that I've selected. We'll do Raul, Jonathan, Ruben, Cole as our order.
And don't forget to add that you can't look at the database. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, obviously no cheating, but You can ask as specific as a question as you'd like, because you might be helping
Or
somebody
is
else.
vague.
Or is vague, yeah. But so you are first, Raul. Go ahead with your first question.
Okay, let's keep it high level. What set is the card from?
Nice.
This set is set 1. This card is from set
Okay.
1. I lied. It is set 2.
Ooh, okay.
I
Fire in my
apologize.
head.
I
How do I
apologize.
know?
Dang.
I apologize.
Fair enough. You corrected yourself.
Guys, it's
I'm
probably
glad I
a
did. That
reprint.
would have been really awkward.
Guys, it's probably a reprint card. No, go ahead. John.
That'd be funny.
Right.
Does this card cost 4 or more?
Oh, geez.
This card does cost 4 or more.
Okay.
Is this card a unit?
This card is a unit.
It's a unit,
Is that back?
4 cost, set 2. Is it a
Is it
space
back to me?
unit, Steve?
This is not a
Okay,
space
so it's a
unit.
ground unit. Okay.
All right. That is a first round of questions. Back to Raul.
Okay. All right. So just to recap, it's set 2. It's 4 plus cost. It's a unit. It's a ground unit specifically.
Yeah.
What color is it? What aspect?
This
is
card-
it?
This card is Heroic Vigilance.
Okay.
Light blue. Ground unit or more.
This is usually the part where Cole says, I know what it is.
I might.
You know, I'll narrow it down a little more. Does this card cost 7 or less?
This card does cost 7
Doesn't
or
narrow
less.
it down all that much.
That
Jonathan.
doesn't, Jonathan. We talked about this.
I swear
man.
to God, we're gonna have a class on how to ask questions.
It's also 15 or less.
Oh my God, Jonathan, I love you, man. I love you. Let me see if I can narrow this down even further.
Y'all got nothing on my hyper realistic question.
What keywords does this card have?
This card has the keyword grit.
Ooh.
Hey Steve, is this unit unique?
This unit is not unique.
Oh.
Oh, wait, do I?
All right, that was the second round of questions. Back to Raul for the
I
final
might know.
round of questions.
Oh man. You said it wasn't unique?
It is not unique.
Shoot. So if I don't know the name of the card, but kind of know what
Oh,
it
oh my
does,
God,
Describe
what
it.
is.
Oh, Yeah, if you can
Describe
describe the
it.
card and you can describe it good enough.
is it the?
But
the
you have to
Jedi?
say it's your guess.
It's my guess. Let's go for it.
Okay.
It's a Jedi card. I think it's called something Jedi, and I'm picturing the art. He's like in the forest with like holding his lightsaber up.
Yeah,
Strip
Knight of
him
the
down.
Republic.
That
No,
one, yes. Oh,
no, not that card.
okay.
That was
Okay.
set 3, I think.
Yeah.
Ah,
Jonathan?
Although, okay, you know what?
I know
I'm
what it
gonna
is.
rip it too. Oh, you do? Then I
Yeah.
definitely am ripping it. Is this the 6-cost Wookiee card? It's like
Can you
Gentle
be-
Giant or something.
Ah, you nailed it.
There you go,
Yeah, you got
Jonathan.
it.
That is the card.
Nice.
Gentle
Nice.
Giant is a 6-cost Wookiee, 2/8 grit, and he says on attack you may heal damage from another unit equal to the damage on this unit.
All right, Jonathan.
Nice,
Those
Jonathan.
narrowing down questions really helped you that time, buddy.
Oh, you know it.
So you know what? Maybe we know nothing because Jonathan did win, even though we all clowned on him about the question. However, I did know the question. So Editor Cole put in that I'm not smoking copium, and that I totally knew the answer. Well, this has been Under the Twin Suns. Raul, thank you for joining us. Please tell us where we can find you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, guys. It's been really fun. We are on basically everything. Podbean. I use that to distribute everything, so it pushes it out to iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube. I edit and post the videos afterwards on there, and we're also soon going to be doing YouTube exclusive videos. Our first one's premiering this week. It's a new segment we're calling Epic Journeys. And it's going to follow first Nick, but I'm also doing my own version of it. Basically, follow me to a tournament or follow me to a Galactic, and just kind of chronicling our journeys of how we like modify our deck as we go to each of these tournaments and our experiences there.
Nice.
Oh, that sounds
Oh,
like
that's
so much
super
fun.
Yeah, I was staying up late. I stayed up way too late last night working on the intro, like with doing some graphics and some cool like ship flybys. So probably gonna do a little bit of that after I log off here. But yeah, basically, Spotify, Podbean. We have a Facebook page. We have a Discord, which we talked about earlier. We have everyone's welcome to join. We love interacting with people and connecting them. So thank you guys again for having me.
Yeah, well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks, buddy.
Awesome. Next episode. One thing we're doing pretty soon here is we're hoping to have Team Secret on. We're planning on doing it this week, but the snow kind of messed things up for people. But we're basically gonna do a roundtable discussion with Team Secret and kind of asking them, from their hyper competitive standpoint, how they approach things, how they prep for tournaments, and how anyone can take away some skills from that to get better, whether you want to be super competitive or just have stand a chance of winning your weekly.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to seeing that, and we'll have everything linked below. Thank you so much for being on today. And thank
you.
you all for listening, and stay safe, enjoy your life, and tell people you love them. Bye-bye now.